My girlfriend hooked up with her best friend's husband on their wedding day. So, I blew up their lives. I'm a 28-year-old male. I met my girlfriend, Lisa, 26, at a pub trivia night. She joined my team since she didn't have one, and I was immediately impressed by her knowledge. Being a trivia buff myself, I found her fascinating. We hit it off that night and started dating soon after. At the time, I was working on my master's degree while Lisa had recently quit her teaching job to pursue a career as a social media influencer, focusing on trivia and educational content. I fully supported her ambition. We need more women creating educational content online, and her passion for knowledge was one of the things that drew me to her. Through Lisa, I met her high school best friend May and May's longtime boyfriend Tom. They were the quintessential high school sweethearts, stayed together through college despite attending schools on opposite coasts, and eventually settled down in the same city. When Lisa excitedly told me about their engagement, I was genuinely happy for them. While everyone's love story is different, there was something special about finding your person so early in life and making it work through all the challenges. Their wedding was beautiful, if a bit rowdy thanks to May's extended family, many of whom were part of a motorcycle club. Though intimidating at first glance, they were actually great people once you got to know them. The ceremony was moving. May and Tom seemed so in love and perfect for each other. Things took a dark turn when I noticed Lisa and Tom having what appeared to be an intense private conversation during the reception. May was elsewhere chatting with friends, but the serious expressions on both their faces seemed wildly inappropriate for what should have been a joyous celebration. Something felt off, but I tried to give Lisa the benefit of the doubt. That evening back in our hotel room, I asked Lisa about the conversation. She brushed it off at first, claiming it was nothing. When I pressed further, she said Tom was just having typical wedding day jitters, and she was helping calm him down since they'd known each other so long. The explanation seemed plausible enough, but something still nagged at me. Why wasn't one of his groomsmen giving him the pep talk? And why did it look more like an argument than reassurance? My suspicions grew as I noticed Lisa constantly messaging someone on her phone throughout the night, her expression turning serious each time she checked it. While I wasn't immediately thinking cheating, I felt certain she was hiding something from me. Maybe Tom had confided something personal she promised to keep secret? I needed to know. I'm not proud of it, but I checked her phone while she slept that night. I'd done it twice before when my gut told me something was wrong, but those times had turned up nothing concerning and actually increased my trust in her. This time was different. The message thread with Tom revealed that earlier that day, when Lisa told me she was going to get ready with the bridesmaids, she had actually gone to Tom's room. Their evening messages painted a devastating picture. Lisa, as long as you keep your mouth shut, we'll both be fine, Tom. Trust me, I'm not saying anything. I have way more to lose right now, Lisa. This was the only chance we'd ever have, Tom. I know. Something about you being forbidden made it irresistible. But it was wrong, Lisa. But you enjoyed it, Tom. That's not the point. You can like something and still know it was a mistake, Lisa. You didn't seem to have a conscience when I was naked in front of you, it went on, with Tom explicitly describing their encounter. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. For years of trust and love shattered in an instant. The physical pain in my chest was overwhelming. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I managed to take screenshots of the messages before leaving the room to walk aimlessly through the night, trying to process what I discovered. Through the fog of betrayal and heartbreak, one thing was crystal clear. I had to end things with Lisa. The relief of discovering her true nature before marriage or kids came into the picture was the only silver lining. But I struggled with what to do about May. She had just married a man who cheated on her literally hours before their wedding. Did she deserve to know? Or would ignorance be kinder? After careful consideration and getting input from others, I realized May had the right to know, regardless of how she chose to handle the information. It wasn't my place to decide whether she'd be better off not knowing. She deserved the truth about both her new husband and her supposed best friend. When we returned home, I confronted Lisa. The moment I said, "I know you slept with Tom," all color drained from her face. She tried to stutter out a response, but quickly realized denial was pointless. I gave her 1 hour to pack her essential belongings and arrange for a ride. Anything left behind would be donated or trashed. I wanted no reminders of her in my home. She sat there crying for several minutes before finally moving to pack. When the hour was up, she and a friend carried out 3 suitcases. That was the last time I saw her in person, though she came by once later begging to talk. I never opened the door. Next came the difficult task of telling May. I called to ensure Tom wasn't around, then gently broke the news. The line went silent for a long time. When she finally spoke, she thanked me profusely for telling her, saying she would always want to know something like this rather than live in ignorance. She was especially hurt by Lisa's betrayal, having been friends since high school. After the wedding incident blew up, several mutual friends reached out with stories that painted a clearer picture. Apparently, Lisa and Tom had a brief fling in high school before he started dating May. Lisa never quite got over him, but she played the supportive best friend role perfectly. One friend even recalled Lisa making comments about how she could have had Tom if she really wanted to after a few drinks at a party years ago. The aftermath of exposure brought out her true colors even more. She tried to paint herself as the victim, claiming I had overreacted to a moment of weakness. She even attempted to rally support from our friend group, spinning a story about how I had been controlling and suspicious, pushing her into Tom's arms. Fortunately, the screenshots I'd taken told the real story. I wasn't done, though. I hired someone to systematically expose Lisa's infidelity in the comments of all her social media posts. When one account got blocked, they'd switch to another. Her followers began discussing it so much that she had to disable comments entirely. Eventually, she stopped posting altogether, quite a change from her usual 5 posts per week schedule. The most satisfying development came courtesy of May's biker relatives. When they learned why her marriage ended mere days after the wedding, they paid Tom a visit and roughed him up a bit. They also tracked down Lisa, and while they didn't hurt her, scared her enough that she fled the state. Being cheated on is awful, but executing the perfect revenge definitely helped me heal. I made sure they faced real consequences for their actions, and I feel much better for it. Sometimes the best medicine for betrayal is making sure the betrayers pay dearly for their choices. Life has a way of teaching us what we need to learn, even if we don't want the lesson. Through this experience, I discovered my own strength, the value of true friends, and the importance of maintaining dignity even while seeking justice. The pain of betrayal never completely disappears, but it does transform into wisdom if you let it. To those facing similar situations, remember that you're not alone, and you don't have to suffer in silence. Stand up for yourself, expose the truth when necessary, and never let anyone convince you that you're wrong for demanding basic respect and honesty in relationships. Sometimes the best endings come from the worst beginnings. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them, so please leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more stories like this one.